joined here today by Matt Schnell, set to fight December 21st at UFC South Korea against Alexandre Pantoja. Thanks so much for joining me, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, as always. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. First things first, this fight's, I believe, if I'm correct, it's taking place in South Korea. Is this your first time ever going over there?
This will be my first time in South Korea. My father is half Korean. He was born in Seoul on the army base, and obviously my grandmother is a Korean lady, so I actually have some Korean blood in me. It will be my first time visiting. I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh, wow. So it's not just like a random fight for you. They stick you on South Korea because whatever. This has some kind of meaning for you.
There is meaning, yeah, and I reached out and let the matchmakers know that there was some meaning for me. So yeah, they made it happen. Put me on the card.
So are you going to be able to be seeing any family while you're over there, or is that not really an option for you?
Uh, no, I haven't even really thought about it, honestly. We thought maybe bringing my grandma out at one point, but she's a busy lady. She's got plenty going on, and um, she's when I told her I was fighting in Korea, she was like, "Oh, baby, that's great." And I asked her if she wanted to go back, and she was like, "Why? Why? This is my home." Um, yeah, no plans to visit any family, but excited to meet the Korean fans and experience Korea.
Yeah, what kind of reception do you think you'll get? I mean, do you think this is something where you're gonna have to let people know, hey, you guys should be rooting for me. I'm from South Korea. I mean, what kind of reception are you expecting?
I don't know. Everywhere I go, I get pretty decent reception. It's not like the whole building showing up for me or anything.
Yeah.
But I have yet to walk out to a UFC fight and not feel welcome. Typically there are people there cheering for me and rooting for me. And even when I come out of the cage, whether I win or lose, there's always people shouting me down, trying to make me uh, know that they're there and in attendance to see me. So yeah, I've never had a bad reception, but of course I avoid places like Brazil.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I do want to talk to you about your opponent a little bit because you guys did compete on the Ultimate Fighter together. I don't remember off the top of my head. Were you guys on the same team or were you on opposite teams?
We were on the same team. Yeah.
Okay, so is that going to be weird fighting someone that I assume you guys did a lot of training and I mean lived in the same house together for a couple weeks?
Yeah, we actually trained together post Ultimate Fighter 2. He came out to California where now I've made my home base, and he trains at American Top Team in Coconut Creek, Florida, which is my former stable as well. So yeah, we're quite familiar with each other, and it's not weird. We're the best in the world. You always know, when you're in a group like this, who else do you compete against besides the other guys who are the best in the world? So it's I don't think I think we're both in a place now where it's not like our jobs are on the line, so that's comforting. But we're both going to go out there and try and whip each other. I know this guy. I know he's a stout kid. He's tough, and he won't go away easy. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I know Pantoja probably is too.
And so I do want to talk to you about the flyweight division a little bit because it's a weird one. I mean, at some point everybody's getting cut, some people are staying and stuff like that. From your end, what's going on with this division? I mean, is it still going to go? Is the title going to be defended? I mean, what's kind of going on with the division from sort of your endpoint?
I think that the coming weeks are important. We'll see that there are a couple of big fights coming up. They just announced Rayborg versus Bontran. That's another big fight. I think as long as we continue to perform and put on good shows, that the division's in safe hands. I've been saying this. As long as I'm winning, the division's not going anywhere. We're going to be all right. And I wholeheartedly believe that. But, yeah, it's up to us right now. Henry is absent and has been. And obviously he's been getting over some injuries, and that's all well and fine and good. But now it's time for him to make a decision, and we need to know what's going on with this thing. And I hope the UFC just understands that there are guys like me out there, guys that could. I truly and honestly believe that I can be the face of this division. I can carry it. I just need the opportunity. Put me in the big fights. Let's keep this thing rolling, and I can beat any man. I can beat anybody, and I think I'm a good ambassador for the sport, and so hopefully they recognize that as well.
And I'm sure you are paying attention to what's going on with the title, what's going on with Henry and everything, because you're currently on a 4-fight winning streak. If you add a win here, that's a 5-fight winning streak. I assume the title, it's got to be in the very near future at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's one fight at a time, and I've said it before. Like it's in the back of my mind. I know that. I got Alexandre Pantoja in front of me. I'm trying not to speak on the title too often, but after I go out there whip this guy, you might hear me clamoring and making a whole bunch of noise. But yeah, I'm on a pretty good streak. I feel good about things. I've won 4 fights in a row. They only give me 3 in a row because I moved up to bantamweight. Of course, I fought a flyweight who's a pretty good flyweight too in his time, and so I say it's 4 in a row, 4 wins in a row in the division.
Yeah, for sure, we can't disagree with that. We're going to go with 4. The record says 4. I mean, there's no reason to start to nitpick. But I do want to talk about that because it looked like when you started in the UFC, things were going a little bit rough for you. You were kind of alternating divisions. Now you've turned everything around. What was kind of the turning point? I mean, what happened to sort of put you on this streak and, turn your UFC career around like this?
I think I always had the ability. I always had the skills to get it done. When you're a young guy who comes from a background, like a non-competitive background like myself, sometimes you get to where you're trying to go and you don't know what to do when you get there. And I was overwhelmed early on. In my first UFC fight, the moment was too big for me. In my second UFC fight, I made the moment too big for me, and I've just grown as a person. I'm lucky and fortunate to have discovered martial arts at a young age. I think most people walk through life and they're never able to figure themselves out and come to terms with who they are. But for me, I found myself through fighting, and I've been doing this a long time too. I've been in the spotlight for a while, and so people have literally watched me grow from 19 years old until now. I'm about to turn 30. I'm about to have my first child. So yeah, it's interesting. But I've always had the winning formula, I felt like. I think early on in my UFC tenure, I just didn't believe in myself. Simple.
And so one thing I want to know more of, I mean, you mentioned that you recently moved out to California. Also, congratulations on having a child on the way. That's great news. What was your reason for moving out to California?
I actually live in Houston, Texas. I just bought a house in Humble, not too far from Houston in the suburbs.
Okay.
I come out to California to do my training camps, and I made that switch kind of in the mix of me trying to rediscover myself. And I trained at American Top Team for 4 years. I had a lot of great success there. I've got a lot of training partners and friends and people I consider family within that gym. And it was just time for a change for me. And I met Kieran Fitzgibbons on The Ultimate Fighter when I was on Henry Cejudo's team. And I had been aware of who Kieran was and knew about Gaston and Kevin Ross and Eddie Absolo. I was fans of these guys. So when I got the opportunity to start training with them, I took the opportunity, and I'm part of this gym now. And this gym's my family too.
And so you're going to be fighting in South Korea. That, of course, means, a different time zone. You've got a long flight, which might mess with the weight cut and everything. What adjustments do you have to make for this fight as compared to some of the other fights?
Well, I fought in Singapore last summer, and it was tough. When I got to Singapore, I was like 18 pounds out from weight, so we were kind of worried about that. No special things to prepare. I anticipate that I'll have to face my fair share of adversity. I'm not going to show up 18 pounds heavy this time. I'm going to try and make that a little easier on myself. But other than that, it's business as usual. My idea is if some guy came and kicked in my door at 3 a.m., I couldn't go downstairs and tell him to come back at 9 when I was feeling better. Go down there and I'd beat his tail. And same thing. Like, I might be a little sleepy. I might be a little jet lagged, but guess what? I'm going to be in a fist fight. Got to defend myself. Got to make it happen. And I train hard so that, the particulars don't get in the way. I train hard so that if I was in a mud pit, I could still beat somebody up. So it doesn't matter to me. Time zone, different country, doesn't matter. Let's go.
For sure. What kind of fight are you expecting out there against Pantoja? I mean, we know that you, of course, know your opponent very well. I mean, what kind of fight are you expecting out there?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be one that I have to work through and earn. 15 minutes of hard work. Uh, I can finish anybody. I think I've proven that at this point. My body of work, go back and look at it. I've got an 80% finishing rate. I've got a lot of fights. I fought some tough guys. So, could get out there, get a quick start. Who knows? Who knows? Pantoja's never been finished. So it would be a feather in the cap if I was able to go out there and put him away. I'm not counting on that. I know this guy is made of iron, and I don't know. It's going to be a tough fight. I've been saying this. I think it'll be I either spark this kid or it's fight of the night. I don't know if there's any in between because I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna be there fighting hard. And I know he's gonna fight hard. And Pantoja's proven it in the past. He's a tough guy. That's not gonna go away easy. And every time he fights, it's almost fight of the night type of fight. So I'm the same type of guy. I think I'd like to see what the over/under is on me and Pantoja being fight of the night because I'd say the odds are pretty good.
All right, and I do have one more for you, and it kind of goes in with the last question, what we were kind of saying, but we know you've been getting these triangle chokes, these last two fights and everything, but how do you see yourself getting the hand raised in the fight? I mean, we mentioned the different outcomes, but in your mind, how do you get the job done in this one?
I think the probability, the highest probability is that I chip him up for 15 minutes. Nice and long and smooth and hit him with good shots, defend his takedowns, keep it where I'm comfortable, and win the fight. I think that's the most probable. But don't be surprised if I go out there and clip this kid, make him dizzy, put him away. All these guys that I've submitted recently, best believe they were hurt first. I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. I am. I've been grappling a long time. I can submit anybody. But these guys, they're getting submitted because they are hurt. And go back and watch the tape. Louis Smolka was hurt. He was taking a barrage of a beating. And same thing with Espinosa. It hadn't accumulated yet, but I clipped him, and he shot from a mile away, and I snagged his neck. So I can do this to anybody. I can do it to anybody. I'm smooth. I hit hard. I know I look scrawny. But when I crack these guys, they feel it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to a tough fight. I know Pantoja. I know this he's incredible. He's made of iron. He's the number 4 guy in the world. I've had my eye on him for a long time, and I've always known about him. I've always known all these guys. I got my eye on all of y'all. So I'm well studied. I believe that I have the advantage in this one.
Thanks so much for the time, man. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to watching this fight.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it as well.